Did it feel to be back at full training today?
Yeah, it's good to be back. Obviously a little bit of a setback with an injury, but it's good to be back in full training and ready to go for the weekend.
And tell us about how you're feeling and how this process has been, this recovery.
Yeah, it's obviously been a little bit frustrating because games are starting, the season's starting, you want to be fit and healthy, you want to be out there to help the team, but it's one of those things that just need a little bit of time to calm down and heal. So it's I'm feeling good and ready to go this weekend.
What did you see watching the game last week?
Yeah, obviously it's a tough go. I think I think we need to be ready. Turn the page essentially. It's the first game. Sometimes you're a little sluggish coming out of preseason. Maybe that's what it was. But we have to wake up a little bit and turn the page and look forward to the game tomorrow.
Ryan, do you think you're gonna? How much action can you see tomorrow?
I'm ready. I'm hopeful. Hopefully, I can get into the game at some point to contribute to the team and help the team win. The amount of time's up to the staff, so I'll be ready for whatever time they want to let me get in the game and help the team win.
Talk a bit about this new surface you're playing on. How much of an adjustment is that for you guys, just hopping onto this very new?
Yeah, it's a little different. It's kind of like a new shoe. Got to break it in a little bit, but it's it's a nice field. I'm sure with a couple games under it, it'll feel real good. Guys will get used to the way the ball rolls and everything. So it'll take a little bit of time maybe, but it's a nice field and we're excited to be back on it.
Is that a big adjustment with just it looks really slow compared to probably what you're used to doing? How do you make up for that, or how do you adjust your game at all?
I don't think we adjust in game. You just kind of it's the same thing. Anytime you go to any other field, you kind of get a feel if grasses are different in different parts of the country, turf, whatever it is. So you have to adjust quickly to the surface and just be ready for whatever you have to adapt to.
This will be your first home opener here at BC Place. How does it feel to be coming back to this stadium?
Yeah, it's exciting. Obviously, we had a lot of fans here last year pushing us all the way, and their support during the games was incredible. So, I think we're all really excited to be back here, and we're looking forward to seeing all the fans again.
What are you expecting from the Cup champions? They were held off the score sheet with the last game.
Yeah, I'm sure they got a little bit of something to prove now that they didn't score this game, and obviously they're a really good team. They got really good players from the back line all the way up to their goal scorer in Castellanos. So it'll be a good test for us, and we're really looking forward to it.
Brian, just going back to the turf, one thing I seem to notice is that when the ball bounced, it was kind of a dead bounce. It didn't bounce that much. Is that something different as compared to what you played on before?
Yeah, I think last year the field was a little bit harder. I think that was one of the factors that contributed to trying to get a new field. So I'm sure the ball will start bouncing normally again, and we'll get used to it and we'll be ready to go.
How important is just energy for you guys? I know you're trying to work through your system that Danny's put in this year, and there's always adjustments to that. As part of the formula, just having excitement and energy as a player, what is that taking in you?
Yeah, I think from a young age, one of my coaches said, you can have a bad game, but the only thing you control is your energy, how much work you put into the game, and I think that's something that helps us on the field, especially with the way we play. And then when we're good on the ball, I think it takes us to another level. So first and foremost, we have to have the right energy, the right commitment to the game plan, and just come out flying.
The team seemed to struggle getting through the midfield last week and getting service to the forwards. As a striker, when that's happening, is there anything you can do to try and help that situation?
Yeah, I think for me it's about trying to lead from the front line defensively. I think if you come in too far into the midfield, it can kind of clog things up and doesn't stretch the field as much, and that leads to issues. But I think if as a forward to kind of lead the line and pressure, get the team energized, I think it can go a long way in terms of helping the team get out from the back and making a good attack.
Last year was a career year for you. What would you have to do to repeat that pace? Because that was quite the run you're on in the second half.
I think for me it's doing the same things I did last year, sticking to what I did in preparation-wise and training, and just same thing as last year. Hopefully just replicate it and continue to score goals for the team and help the team win.
So buying Ryan lots of dinners, getting
yeah,
on his good side,
exactly.
Making sure he gets service, that kind of thing.
Making his lunch and everything for him.
When you look at the forward group, what kind of profiles do you see there? How do you compare yourself to like Cava and Toss now and Daber? What do you see that's different among you guys?
I think obviously Daber is a little shorter, but I think we have good profiles. I think we're, at least me, Toss, and Cava are kind of in a similar kind of way. We're able to hold the ball, can make runs in behind, and I think we are all eager to help the team win. I think it's good competition to have in the forward position, and hopefully it'll bring the best out of all of us to help the team win.